This is going to sound like a contradiction, but if I had to sum up my thoughts on this movie, it would be, it's amusing, but it's weak. On a story level, it's basically the plot of the first movie again. You know, SpongeBob and Patrick, they go on a road trip to retrieve a stolen item, except in this case, the item belongs to SpongeBob. It's Gary, his snail, and it's been stolen by King Neptune. It's honestly a pretty weak premise. That being said, though, the animation is pretty good. It is a bit unnerving at first to see these characters in CGI form, but in some ways it does kind of work to its advantage. It can be a lot more expressive, energetic, and immersive than just regular 2D. But this movie is basically a long commercial for Paramount Plus, because the third act is basically a pilot episode for the SpongeBob spin-off show Camp Coral, which was released around the same time as this. And there's a few problems with this. The biggest one being, and this is the one that angers me the most, Nickelodeon put the spin-off show into production pretty much immediately after the creator Steven Hillenburg died. Nickelodeon took advantage of the fact that he was no longer around to veto their ideas and just kept using his legacy to ride their cash cow. And they're still doing it. The other big issue is that the third act, where it's a flashback to SpongeBob and his friends at Kids' camp, completely ignores the first episode of the show. I can buy the idea that he met Patrick Squidward and Mr. Krabs at camp, but the first episode of the main show is where he meets Sandy, and now they just throw that out the window and say, nope, they've known each other since they were kids. Talk about disrespectful and lazy. They were so eager to make a spin-off show, they didn't even bother to match it up with the main show's continuity, and that is something I cannot excuse. Up until the third act, though, it can be a bit entertaining. Honestly, someone needs to get Keanu Reeves an aspirin because I'm sure his back hurts from carrying this entire movie. His scenes are the best material here. He gets really funny lines, and they are the best jokes of this movie. There's also another scene kind of around the middle of the second act that has another celebrity cameo, which I wouldn't dare ruin for you, but it had me laughing. Granted, it does slow the film down, and it has almost nothing to do with the rest of the movie, but it was also pretty entertaining. And as entertaining as this film can be, though, I simply cannot forgive Nick for shamelessly exploiting the legacy and going against the wishes of the creator by waiting for him to die. Shame on you, Nickelodeon. You disgust me, and he wrote an apology to his family. But I'm feeling a little bit generous, so SpongeBob the Red for me gets a C, a 7 out of 10, and a 3 out of 5 stars, but that's as high as a grade as you're getting from me, given the circumstances.